Hello my crafty friends. Thanks for joining me for the Karen Burniston Dare to be Artsy collaboration blog hop. I'm going to be sharing how I made this fun pop-up card using dies from Karen Burniston along with stamps and dies from Dare to be Artsy. I have lots of details and tips to share with you today, so let's get started. To make this 5-inch square card, I began with a piece of cardstock that is double-sided that I cut 10 by 5 and then scored in the center. This particular cardstock is a little bit lightweight, so I knew with a pop-up I would need something a little more stable. So to remedy that, I put a white panel on the back, which serves two purposes. One, it adds the stability that I need, and two, it's a good place to write my message when the card is finished. For the pop-up portion, I used the house pivot panel. And as you can see, I've already found all the folds and all the creases, which the die makes for you. In addition to that, I knew I wanted grass on mine, so I added a little piece of grass from the nature edges. And I have glued it on and trimmed it to match. So now what I need to do is put it right in the very center of my card. And I need to find the crease here and here. I want it down a little lower because I know I'm going to put my tree right in the very center of this card. So it's matched up. Now I'm going to put a little bit of low-tack tape to hold it in place while I get ready to glue it. I've already found my creases, so on here there's 6 places where I need to glue. This larger tab and these 2 little tiny tabs, this larger tab and these 2 little tiny tabs. I'm going to put the glue on the front of it and fold it under. Okay, I've given my glue some time to set up, so now it's time to fold it. Since I already found all the crease marks, I'm going to show you from the top. It should just gently fold in, and all of the folds should be falling into place. Don't force it, just gently push it together. Then what I like to do, and to make sure that my card stays square, is lay it down on the solid surface and give it a good rub from the front. Okay, we're good to go. Now that I have my pop-up in place and working perfectly, I want to add my elements, and I'm going to begin with the tree. I've cut this tree using the tree pop-up die set from Karen Burniston, and I know that I want to put my tree right in the very center. And as you can see, it's going to cause a little problem because these are mountain folds, and I know that if I try to glue that in there like that and try to bend it, I'm not going to be very successful. So what I've decided to do is cut my tree right down the center, right up the front of the trunk, right to the center, so that I have 2 halves. This way I'm going to put each side of the tree on each side of the crease. So I'm going to do that next, but I can already see that these little branches here are going to cause a problem. So before I even bother to glue it on, I'm going to give it a little trim. So I'm going to cut these lower branches off so they don't impede the pop-up portion. Okay, with that done, I'm going to start placing my tree on my card. Now, since this is an independent, these 2 pieces move independent of each other, you don't want to get any glue on this middle section, so you just want to place your glue right next to the crease at the very top and the very bottom. You might even want to lift it up a little bit. That'll keep it from getting on the other portion of your card. Place your cut piece, your tree right there. Okay, whoops, I'm going to line it right along the crease, and I'm going to press it down. I'm going to do exactly the same to the other side. Remember, you want to get them close together, but not overlapping. Close to the crease. Oops, we need to move that one over a little. That's one thing about using glue. You can move it for a few minutes. Well, not minutes, maybe seconds. Okay. Okay, I've opened and closed it several times. Everything seems to be in working order and just where I want it. So next I'm going to add the greenery. I'm going to place it approximately where I want it. Now since I had to trim off the bottom branches, I know that some of these leaves are going to have to be trimmed down as well. So I'm not going to attach those to anything until I see if I need to give the tree a little bit of a haircut. But what I do need to do is glue down a couple of these branches. Whoops, should have put that on the branch. There we go. Okay. Okay, with that done, what I need to do, since my tree is cut in half, is cut my greenery in half as well. So I think I need to cut it right about here, all the way up. Okay, now I'm just going to put my glue on my branches because I know that these are working okay. I can still cut away any of the green part that I need to. Okay, once again I'm going to line it up right in the center. I'm going to put that up just a little bit. Now right where I made my cut, I'm going to line it up right with the center of the card and right with the center of the tree. Whoops. There we go. Now, I do the same thing on this side, lining up my sides and my center right down to my tree. Now, I see I have a little bit of glue sticking out, but I have used fast drying, clear drying glue, so I'm not really too concerned about that. When it dries, it won't show. So now it's time for the test. I already see that I need to do a little bit of trimming. So I'm going to take off this leaf right here, because I know that's not going to make the card close. And this one right here, because it's sort of like in the way. Let's just trim that. Give that a little haircut. So you need to do a little bit of cleanup there. Okay, let's give it a test, see what we get. I see I still have a little bit of hang up right over here. This side's going to be fine. But over here we need to get rid of a couple of things. So I think that's going to be right here and right here. Now let's give it a test. Seems to be working great. Alright, so far so good. The tree pop-up die set comes with this little accessory die that cuts extra little leaves. As you can see, I've gone ahead and cut some out of a lighter shade of green and glued them onto my tree. I did that off camera because I didn't want to bore you silly watching me glue things together. We all know how to do that. As part of this collaboration blog hop from Dare to be Artsy, I chose their honey bear set. As you can see, it has adorable images of bears with honey pots, and you couldn't have a honey pot without a bee. The set also includes many coordinating stamps, of which I've used 2 for this card today. I used the bear hugs, which is going to go on the inside of my card, but for the outside, I chose this one, and it says, "A day without a friend like you is like a pot without a single drop of honey." And it's a quote from Winnie the Pooh. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. I've already stamped and colored and cut out my bears that I'm going to use on my card, along with a couple of little bees, and I made a banner. But if you sometimes struggle with cutting out stamped images with a coordinating die, I'm going to give you a little tip. I've stamped and colored an additional bear, and I've also made a template for that, which I've already used several times. Out of scratch paper, I cut out a template using the coordinating die that comes with the set. I'm going to set the die aside for a minute. I'm going to take my image and my template. Whoops, I'm going to put it on screen. You want to line up your image and your template so that you have the perfect border around there. When you're feeling like it's just the way you want it, Take a little bit of low-tack tape. Tape the two pieces together. Then bring your die back in. Since this is already cut out, you can just find it, should slide right in there. It's seated in there right the first time. So then put another little piece of tape on the edge of the die to keep it in place. Take the whole thing and run it through your die cutting machine. Since you've already cut the template out, the die is still only cutting through one thickness of paper. That way you always get the perfect coordinated edge. I hope this is helpful for you. For the front of my card, I've used the two largest squares in the Crosshatch square set, and I've already stamped it with my cute little stamp, and I'm going to add my little bear and a little bee, and of course we don't want him floating in the air, so I'm going to add a little strip of grass. I'm going to start my assembly, and I'm going to speed up the video. Well, here it is, the finished card. Don't you wish we could always assemble them that fast? I know I'd get a lot more cards done. I'd like to thank you for joining me today and invite you to stop by my blog at sandydiller.blogspot.com, where you'll find more information about this card as well as links to all the products that I've used today. Until then, bye-bye.